Katie here. I felt the calling to come on Instagram Live and share some messages. I've learned to trust these intuitive calls because every time I put out one of these live talks, I get at least one message about something someone heard that they needed to hear to help them navigate a situation in their life, help them feel understood and seen and loved, because I'm here to love you. That's all I'm here to do on this planet. To love. I think I love you are the most used words I have, and I suggest everybody uses them more frequently. I love you. There was a time in my life where I was actually full of hatred, full of toxic energy, full of lower vibrations. I was full of a lot of dark thoughts. And there was a shift that happened when I began to listen to Buddhism, talks about Buddhism. I was reading some books. I was meditating. I was going regularly to a Buddhist center. We were meditating mostly in silence and then receiving some wisdom. And one of the teachers kept talking constantly about shape-shifting our thoughts, noticing the vibration, the sensation, if they came from a contraction, a feeling of wanting to be small and in fear, anxiety, and what would be the opposite of it? The opposite would be to expand, to lean into it, to say yes. So I had this feeling to come onto Instagram Live, and it was a feeling that I needed to say yes to. Hi everyone, I'm just taking in some people that are joining. The recording will be up later as well. I lit a candle as I always do. Oh, here's a beautiful story on intuition. I got 12 of these giant red candles I found on Facebook Marketplace. There were 12 of them, and 12 has been a very special number in my life lately. And it's always a special number. There are 12 months to the year. There are actually 12 DNA strands that make up our human existence, not just 2, 12. And in those 10 extra ones is where we hold telepathy and major higher powers. And I've done a lot of meditations, which you can all do, which you've all, if you're tuning in right now, you have meditated, you have done certain invocations, you have connected with a higher presence that's larger than your fears and smallness as a human. You have connected with something grand, and that has been because you have activated a part of your dormant DNA. And I saw these candles on Facebook Marketplace, and I rarely buy anything on there, but something told me to go buy these 12 candles for $15 from this woman. And yesterday I was driving by the airport with my boyfriend, and I was like, these candles are just around the corner. Let's see if they're available right now. And right away the person responded, and I said, okay, I'll be there in 10 minutes. And the person that I picked them up from, I'd actually gone to high school with them. They happened to be in the house, and it was just this epic synchronicity that I picked up these red candles that are epic. I love them. And somebody I knew from high school was at the house. And that was this miraculous situation that made me so happy. So now I call them synchronicity candles. So I've lit a synchronicity candles. And synchronicities are these bursts of energy, of this godlike enthusiasm for humanity. It's like the creator that created all the cosmos and planet Earth. Every once in a while, when we want it especially, lines up so many situations to your favor where you go, wow, I can't believe this person and this person and this person are all here. And I was just thinking about you and there you are. Or I was just writing this letter and this person just showed up. It's when our thoughts and everyday reality is manifesting in this flowing, beautiful, magical orchestration, and we are just in awe of it. And that's life constantly, really. What makes it not that is when we have too many thoughts clogging up the synchronicities, when we are in analyzing and planning mode, when we have put too many things in our schedule. We have planned almost every hour of the day. And yes, synchronicity can still happen within all these hours and months, and yet maximum synchronicity can happen when you allow for flow, when you allow a few hours of the day to be driven by this godlike laughter and happiness and magic, even days. I used to do synchronicity Sundays. For at least a year, Sundays I would make no plans. People would tell me, Katie, come to my barbecue, or I'm having this event. Can we meet? Can we do a session? And I would just say no. Sundays, I love to leave it completely open for the universe to take me on a spontaneous journey, to go somewhere where I hadn't been before, because that's just in my nature. I love variety. It's life for me. It's literally life or death. If I don't have some variety, some spontaneous, magical new experience, even if I'm living in the same home every day, I need to have some sort of new flavor, new person, new conversation, new project. And so for Sundays, I wanted maximum of that. And I remember one Sunday, I was feeling kind of down. I was going through this weird relationship where I just felt like I wasn't being honored and I really liked the person. Anyways, long story short, I asked the universe for a mantra. And what I really wanted that day was to be in beauty, to have beautiful thoughts, to have beautiful feelings in my body. I was tired of feeling sad and depleted and overconsumed in my head with this thought of this person. So I just said, universe, please take me on a ride, and I want to experience beauty. And I left my house and I walked for hours actually across Toronto, just repeating the mantra, I'm attracting beauty. And I was walking down the street and I met a new friend who is now one of the most special people in my life. And he's like a spiritual godfather for me in many ways, and he provides many synchronicities. He was a synchronicity that opened up many, many, many other synchronicities. And I want to make a note on this. I was feeling particularly down, and I told the universe, give me something special. And I do this often. I create an opening in my mind for some light. And there's been times where I have felt so dark, so dense, like in the pits of hell. And I feel stubborn about it sometimes, where I really just want to sink in it. For anybody that really knows me personally, especially from a while ago, I write really bitter, melancholic poetry, and I can cry for a very long time and I can feel very down. I'll just be honest. I like to be really honest. And I still can feel like that sometimes, but I also like to feel really good. So I've been training myself a lot over the years to create these openings of light, openings, portals for magic and happiness to trickle into my life everywhere, for God's laughter to move through my blood vessels and take me on these adventures and take me out for a dance every once in a while, or even inside in my place. I might dance later. So synchronicities upon synchronicities, and I sometimes look at where I am, where I'm living, the people in my life, and I think, how did this all happen? And I think of the person that introduced me to that person and who introduced me to that person. And I start to see this like a sacred geometry symbol, this pattern that feels so beautiful of how I connected with this person, that person. And I've been thinking lately about how I am living so many lifetimes within this one lifetime. And it's amazing. Like I constantly have this feeling that of fulfillment, that if I die tomorrow, next month, next year, I have lived fully. So that's a good feeling. And I'm also open to a lot more of this kind of magic in my life, like decades of it. And I want that for you as well. So this is the synchronicity candle that I've lit. May it open up portals of happiness for you. And first, you've got to choose to open up a portal in your mind. You can close your eyes and you can imagine around a circle of light opening and something special coming in there for you as a gift. And you can receive as many gifts as you want. So many gifts. For some reason, we've been programmed to be limited, as if this is as much happiness I can have. And it's just the nature of life on this planet. There are certain densities. Like as children, we laugh more spontaneously. And then through the years, the densities of educational systems or the densities of societal expectations may lower our vibration, and yet we can also stay in the fun and the magic and the happiness of it. Most people don't know my age. They think I'm younger. I'm 30 and I'll probably be 40 and still look somewhat the same. And because I keep this youthful, childlike happiness inside and innocence. And it doesn't mean that my life has been easy. It's been blessed, but I've also had a mind that has been susceptible to very dark thoughts and dark realities. And yet I've learned to protect my mind. And that has preserved my innocence. And learning to protect our minds is very important. I meet a lot of people by phone, in person, and everybody has their own agenda to some extent. I love and I see the best in everyone, and I can also feel their own personal agendas, or I can feel the thoughts that weigh them down that could easily penetrate my aura, but not so easily because I protect myself. Or I say prayers and I ask angels and higher beings to vacuum and clear my auric field constantly. Like I was with a small group the other day, and beautiful intentional beings. And yet at the end of the night, I just felt like saying a prayer to the saints and angels and archangels to uplift us all to higher vibrations. Because the thing is that we can always feel better. We can feel good. We can feel like, okay, I'm waking up, I'm doing my job, I am eating good food, I'm happy, and I'm going to sleep. But we can also be so much happier. We can be in bliss. And most people don't know how blissful they can feel. And that's where I call in the angels and higher beings to uplift us. And I was just listening to a talk on Gaia TV, which is a station like a Netflix for documentaries and more spiritual content. And this one talk was about how life on this planet is a hologram. It's been written in these codes and we can hack into it. Just as somebody programs a computer, we can program our reality. And we can ask for other entities that work with our reality to help us. And it specifically referred to angels. And I'm always so happy when I hear anybody referring to angels because they're not commonly talked about. And I know they are real because I've seen miracles happen within hours of my life when I call upon angels. I've seen solutions just dawn on my mind when I call upon angels. And this woman that was in her 60s that had been researching everything about existence in this universe, talked about angels as the highest guides that can come to us because they have been through the training of earth. As humans, we are in a training school here on earth, and you can look at your certain challenges and ask, what is the next grade? What is the next level? And what will I learn there? It's not like the school gets easier. It's like when you're in kindergarten, it's fun. It's more about the social dynamics. And then you start to learn reading and mathematics. And then if you go to higher education like university, it's tough. You've got so many textbooks, so many tests to pass, and you don't even need that kind of education, that kind of program. My boyfriend Maury just got home and tuned in, so I'm hearing an echo. Hi, Maury.
Hello, people. I hope you're enjoying your Monday night with this angel here. You got a lot of fans tonight, or what?
Just a few hopping in and out, but
All
the
right.
recording will be up. I just felt this calling to be on up here, so
Do it up. It's gonna be great.
thank you. Angels, it's such a high frequency that we don't see it. It's like the air. We know it exists. There's some form of oxygen. We breathe it in and we're alive. For anybody that has felt ghosts or spirits around them, or when somebody close to you dies and you just know their spirit is lingering around, you just see messages from them or you feel them around, you know they're not gone anywhere. Angels are like that too. And some of them have actually been humans before. And this is a very beautiful theory I heard about angels once, that their wings are flutterings of the heart. Their hearts exploded with so much light, so much love, that they created these flutters that look like wings around them and helped them ascend to higher realms. And they did it at such a strong frequency so often that they manifested it, and humans saw it and painted images of them. And there are realms where these angels exist. And obviously, when we ask for their help, with their ultimate compassion and love, they would want to help us. They actually have all the solutions. But as humans, we are not taught to ask for that kind of help. And that's okay. We still receive a lot of help from each other. You know, there are earth angels. There are humans in your life that help you in so many ways, that have guidance. And a lot of people are receiving messages from angels and their guides, and they just have their psychic intuitive connection open. Some people, like in the human design theories, my mom does human design readings, which looks at all of your chakras and your astrology and your leadership qualities and what channels and gates are open. And there are definitely people that have more gates open to higher realms, and that's why these people are hired as psychics and oracles. And there are some people that are more in the human plane, producing and creating and implementing. And it's beautiful when these two archetypes, these two types, are in synergy, because one can receive the higher wisdom and one can implement, and both can also do. So angels, call upon them, and it's very simple. It's just saying help. There's no shame in asking for help. Help is one of the most powerful words you can ask of the higher realms and people around you. I've started to get into the habit because I didn't have it as a habit to ask for help. I've often been very independent. I can do it on my own. I'm an only child. It's not like I was asking my siblings for help. It was me, myself, and my diary, writing out my feelings and doing the best I could do. And I discovered that help could come from higher realms. And I still believe in this process of writing out what I need help with. And so I write down a list of what I need help with, whether it's in my business or my health or my relationships or my living situation. It's like I'm making a grocery list for the universe. And it wants to help me, because the more that I am helped and receiving, the more I can give. It's not like I'm asking for jewelry and more food and more pleasures and more furniture and a car and another vacation, so I can just bathe in hedonism. No, I'm asking for business resources. I'm asking for what is in the greatest good of humanity. Sometimes I don't know what to ask for specifically, but I feel like I'm lacking something and I want to receive, to feel fuller and abundant. And I'll just say, give me what is in the highest good of all. And I'll be brought beautiful people, beautiful types of gatherings, beautiful experiences, teas, gifts that brighten up my heart and give me inspiration. Yeah, things like that. Like, I'll be gifted a journal. My mom gave me this journal and I wrote so much in it. So much. So you just ask for help. You make a list for the universe. This is what I need. This is what I need. And if you have children, make them do this. This is a very special exercise. Teach them young to ask for their needs to be met. Are they thirsty? Do they want something special to eat? What will make you happy? Do you need a walk to the park? And their creativity is sometimes even more open, so they may think of interesting needs that can make us happy as adults as well. Somebody is writing something about the number 7. It's written in Albanian, so I just have to read it a little bit slower. Okay, she's saying she saw 7 stars in the number 7 outside of her balcony. And if what this means, it's definitely a special symbol for you, number 7. Any number, it is a confirmation that you are on the right path, that you are feeling, thinking something right. You have a great idea in your mind. You are special, ultimately. And whatever the number is, it's causing a chemical reaction in your mind, a curiosity that opens your aura for something special beyond you. Because our nature as human is to be evolving and to be open. My mom is saying 7 means spirituality. Perfect. Open up your spirit. I've been seeing a lot of 222. I don't have the best memory. I've researched what 111 means, 2, 3, 4, and I forget. But so I just see, whenever I see a triple number or any special number that keeps reoccurring, it just means yes. Keep going, keep going, keep going, keep going. And I started this conversation talking about synchronicities. And synchronicities for me are the highest excitement. Sure, I can be paid in money, in gifts, but when I get these moments of synchronicity, of meeting certain people, and there's just these epic alignments of we all know this common theme, or I get invited to a special place and I hear all these ideas I've been thinking about that resonate with other people, and it's just synchronicity galore. That is such wealth. And with numbers, I love seeing triple digits, especially when I'm on the road and there's multiple cars around me. I'll play with the universe and I'll say, show me signs. Show me how to increase my vibration. Also, when we're at a higher vibration, we see a greater amount of synchronicities. And you can easily increase your vibration just by thinking of a happy memory. When was the last time I was happy? Oh yeah, I was eating this piece of cake. I was really happy. I loved cake. I love cake. Okay, I'm already feeling happier. So I play. My feelings create responses in the field. And I was sharing about how we're this holographic universe coded. And we're constantly playing with the creators that coded this reality. That's why, hold on, let me just close one door. Okay, so we're constantly playing with this reality. And you can ask for what you want. You can ask for symbols. if that's what gives you high excitement, you can ask for a miracle in your work. And these angels, these higher entities, these programmers of our reality want to help you. And they will orchestrate different people to come into your life. And you just have to be very appreciative with whatever comes in. There was a strong phase for a few months where I was listening to every person as if they were God. I would see just a random stranger that would maybe look me in the eyes and say, "Oh, you look great today." And I would take that in so deeply, like as if God is saying, "I look great," and let it raise my vibration and think I am great. Or I'd be at a coffee shop and somebody would have a book and the title would say, "How to live your most joyful life." And I would think, oh, how do I live my most joyful life? And that question would then drive this conversation with somebody I would meet an hour later, and that would open up another realm. And every time I was talking to somebody, I would look them so deep in the eyes. There was no other distraction in my mind. I was not planning what I was going to do in the next hour or even thinking about what I was going to say to them. I would just think, God is speaking to me through this person. What does God want me to know? And every word would make an impact. And I was specifically attracting really special people that were saying important things, that were talking about how to live in a very healthy way through food, or how to have a certain affirmation in your mind to hack this hologram and open up greater happiness. Or somebody would talk about a certain color and I would take it as a meaning to wear that color, and that color would bring happiness to a child I saw, and that smile of that child made me happy, and I passed that smile on, and it would just be this chain of happy, happy, happy moments. And that's how we live in flow and synchronicity. And so I was saying at the beginning of the conversation, leave a few hours in your day and your week for the universe to fill it up with some magic. Especially if you're feeling a little bit depressed, bored, stuck, and you're looking at your schedule and it's like, oh, it's another day of more meetings, or okay, I'm doing the same thing I was doing last year. Scratch it out for a few hours. Say, I'm going to leave it open. I'm going to go for a walk, and I'm going to ask the universe for synchronicities and numbers and signs. And you make it something that's just so small. Like, how is that important? I saw this 777s. What does that mean? But keep asking, what does that mean? What does that mean? Because sometimes just having an open mind and asking, what does that mean? What's next? What's next? What's next? And asking it repeatedly helps. In that documentary that I was watching earlier about the simulation of planet Earth and how it operates, they were talking about some supernatural abilities of this one man in Egypt that fell to his knees and was meditating by this one gate. The gate was closed, but it had been prophesied that if you said a certain mantra a certain amount of times in a very specific frequency, you'd be teleported, your body to another dimension. And this man reported that that's exactly what happened. It gives me chills to think about this. And we don't experience this in daily life because we're thinking all types of thoughts and we're moving from this task to that task and taking this phone call and this text, not repeatedly. That's why mantras can really be powerful. A mantra, like in Sanskrit, for example, even as simple as Om, Om, Om. Or as I was saying, I was repeating the mantra in English, I'm attracting beauty, I'm attracting beauty. And I did this for a few hours where it literally magnetized a very special person in my life. A man that became like my spiritual godfather, and that I mentioned opened up a lot of other synchronicities. And I was repeating, I'm attracting beauty. I'm attracting the best possible kind of reality around beauty in my life. I'm attracting beauty. And I just entered in that state. there's been times where I've felt like somebody was thinking negative thoughts about me, or they just wanted something from me and it felt depleting. I've since then I've asked a lot for angelic support since I stay very guarded. But before I knew this, I felt like people would draw energy from me just by thinking about me. And it felt like my soul was getting taken. And I brought myself back by saying a very specific thing over and over again as I walked for 2 hours. And I just kept saying, I'm a living and breathing being. I'm a living and breathing being. I'm a living and breathing being. And every time I said it, I was taking ownership of my soul in my body as a human entity. And it was protecting me. It was strengthening my field. It was strengthening my aura. It was taking my mind off of this person, because when we think about that person, we're like creating an opening for them to telepathically communicate with us when we can just block it. And I want to mention this. If you feel like you're connecting with people of dense energy, they love to complain and gossip, you want to clear that first and foremost. And yet, if you have business matters with them or an ongoing situation and you just absolutely can't shut them out, you can do some energy work to lift and clear. You can ask for angelic support to lift and clear. And now I also ask for support for them, because for anybody that is trying to take my energy or judge me or complain in any way, they're coming from some sort of suffering. And I don't want to just take care of my own suffering. Why not help their suffering as well, and ultimately a collective suffering? There's a very beautiful Buddhist practice where when we feel a specific scarcity or suffering in our lives, whether it's a jealousy or a fear, we think about who else on the planet is feeling this fear. And suddenly we can sense that we're not the only ones. Because the greatest suffering comes from thinking we're alone. Like, oh my God, I'm the only one that's going through this struggle. I'm the only one that feels sad. I'm the only one that feels like they're getting cheated on. I'm the only one that feels like they're being lied to. Or I'm the only one that feels like they're not fully supported and understood by others. No. So many people. It's not original. Your suffering is not original. Your suffering is old news. It is the lamest old news. My suffering is the lamest old news. It's not original. It's not creative. It's like 10 billion other people have felt unworthy, have felt ugly, have felt sad. It's so common for us to feel suffering. And that in itself can also bring a sense of, okay, at least I'm not alone in this. And then this Buddhist meditation, I think it was called Tonglen, you feel your own suffering, and then you think, as I'm clearing my own suffering, I want the suffering of others to be cleared as well. I want our suffering to be cleared. And then suddenly you feel like you're part of a group of people that may also be feeling lonely or sad or bored. And just the consciousness of unity raises you up at a feeling of love. Hi. And anything we can do to bring ourselves to love. In meditation, we can get very aware of those thoughts that are hijacking our ability to feel peace. I did a lot of training for a while with Landmark. If you've heard of Landmark, they're a very powerful, no BS, very intense kind of personal development system. And many times I wanted to stop doing it, but I was also really appreciating their discipline about staying in power, staying in action and staying elevated. And there was a constant awareness of what conversation is happening in my head that is driving my behavior. And so it can be as simple as I'm sitting on the couch and I'm feeling uninspired, I'm feeling low energy, and I just want to eat something to feel better. And I know in my higher consciousness that's not productive. I could probably be doing some type of work to advance my business, or I could be reading a book, or I could be doing some yoga, I could call a friend. So I'll be aware of what is this conversation happening. I'm bored, I feel stuck. Take a deep breath and step out of that persona as if I'm playing a character in a movie. Like if you go into a movie set and you're asked to play your life, and you can look at your personal struggle, because every human, as great as our lives may be, or whatever our lives may be, everybody's got some personal struggle. And that's something to remember. Everybody's got something. So if you're comparing yourself to a colleague that seems to be making more money, or somebody that seems to have the perfect relationship and kids, they've got something they're dealing with. Maybe they're not sharing it. Likely they're not sharing about it, but there is something keeping them up some nights, or they wake up with a specific anxiety. And that's why I make a point to just be as real and honest here, that I got stuff too I deal with. Everybody does. We're all in the same playing field. And some have more tools to elevate themselves faster to a happier state. But everybody's got something. For example, I look at my dad. I love my dad so much, and he has not done much personal development. Like, he doesn't read all these books or go to many courses or do specific meditations, where I've like done hours, so many hours of it. And yet, I find him very peaceful, and he finds these simple ways to keep himself happy and productive. And he does fairly well in business and in life, I think. And he takes care of his plants, and he hasn't needed to take a certain amount of courses and learn specific tools to keep his mind in a certain state, but he does fairly well. And sometimes when we are on the spiritual path and we learn all these techniques and we read all these books, we even develop a spiritual ego where we think we are better than other people. And that is no greater than somebody who is struggling. You are struggling with your judgments in that moment. I can be struggling with my judgments in that moment. That's another thing. It's important to own our own feelings and identities. Say I, meaning I can struggle with this. I struggle with this. So often on social media, and I'm guilty of this too, we can preach, be this way, feel this way, look this way, when really, what are the emotions? What are the stories, the narratives that are personal for me? Like even right there, I could have said, what are the stories that are personal for you? But I can't control what you do. I can only control what I do and how I show up. And in my presence, as much elevation, practices of being happy, images, inspiration that I'm holding in my mind, as personal development work that I've done to go from my depression or states of anger into states of love, that I can bring as a gift. My judgments and suggestions to what you should do don't mean much. What I can bring is my own personal experience of growth and happiness. And sometimes when I'm talking to somebody that I feel is struggling, I'll catch myself going into, okay, you should do this, you should do that, and give them a long list of actions, and thinking that way too. And I'll just stop and I'll say, Katie, no, that's not going to help them. You just be peace. If this person is in anxiety, if you can be in a peaceful state and give off an air and an aura of peace and let them absorb that peace, bathe in it, that helps. And our auras contain this hologram of our human identity. Our auras contain images, our own personal stories. So every personal experience I have of growth, of miracles, of synchronicities is programmed now in my aura. And that's why some people may feel like I've got this light or this angelic energy. It's years of creating miracles, seeing my mind go into anger and creating love, taking many actions. And if I can just emanate this aura, that's healing. And everybody here has so many experiences of personal growth. And if you just emanate that, you just show up, you do already, it's elevating consciousness. So let's avoid giving a lot of you should. I think you should do this and should do that. And I am going to take this on very intensely in my life because I still do it as well. I'm full of advice. Sometimes the more I learn, the more I see it's a challenge. It's like, oh my God, I've learned so much. Like I went to university for food and nutrition. I've studied so much about healthy eating. And when I see people eat in certain ways, like something in me wants to go into a whole lecture about how they should eat. And yet, there's only so much time. There's only so much energy I want to output in my communication. And so I just sometimes feel like people are on their own journey of what they eat, what they do, certain behaviors. And I want to end it with this meditation process that has really helped me. I've always been a very eager learner. I love to learn about best practices, how to stay in my best health and my greatest mindset and different techniques. And so I can see many ways to help different people, but I only got a certain amount of hours and capabilities in my business and organizing skills and people social skills. And so I just pray to the same creator that made us all that everybody be accelerated in their journey, helped and given clues and signs and little nudges towards the right direction that is, and the information that is best for them. Because information right now, information is everywhere. You want to lose weight? Information is on the internet about how to do that. You want to gain a specific skill? It's out there on the internet. It's out there in people. You can talk to them. Every bit of information, every question you have in your mind, you can ask it to Google and it will give you the answer. And you don't even need Google. You just ask the collective field, the hologram around you. I've been experimenting with this a lot. Like I'll have a question in my mind of, how do I cook this spaghetti squash, for example? Or how do I cook this squash? How do I make this really delicious meal? How do I bake this pie? Or what do I do with this piece of technology? And I'm somebody that doesn't have much patience for reading a lot of instructions. I can do it, but I like to play. And so I'll just ask the field, give me some ideas and some answers. Or if I have a specific feeling I'm dealing with, like I'm feeling stuck with a problem, I'm feeling stuck in my business, for example. I am feeling stuck with my website. I'll just breathe, let go, and I'll say, what is the solution? What is the best possible outcome? And I'll give a few minutes or a few hours or a few days for the universe to bring me the solutions, the people, the ideas. With food, the solutions come very quickly. Um, or somebody asked, I have a problem for eating. I lost appetite 3 years ago and I'm a little skinny now. I eat just because I need to eat, but not enough because I can't. Okay, so let's ask the field, what would help you eat more? What would help you eat more? And see, here's something I've noticed. We are not asking the right questions sometimes. Sometimes we're asking, why am I not eating more? What is my problem? What is my problem? And we kept getting the answers to the problem, the problem, the problem. Oh, this is the problem. This is the root cause of the problem. This is the issue. No, let's ask, how can I enjoy more food? How can I enjoy food? How can I enjoy food? And you keep asking it over and over and over again, giving space also for the answer to come. And you can write down some answers, and this may be a journey of a few days or even a year. I've had the opposite problem. I tend to gain weight. I can have a day where I'm just like eating a little bit more than usual and more sugar and a little bit more fat. And the next day I'll immediately look it. Like I'll just have a little bit more fat. My metabolism is not as high as some people. Although I've programmed that as well for my metabolism to be higher. Like I'll literally just talk to my body and say, power up, increase metabolism. So for a while, I was actually binge eating. And this was tough for me. I had to ask over long periods of time. And I was asking the wrong question for a while of like, why is this a problem? Why am I stuck with this eating habit? Why? And so it just felt like it was actually bringing more of the problem. So then I started asking, what is the solution? Give me solutions, give me solutions, give me solutions. And I just started dancing more. I started walking more, like an hour a day, sometimes 2 hours. And I started writing a little bit more. So the time that I was spending eating was spent with more activities. And then I started to receive ideas for just eating more like carrots and celery and apples to manage my appetite. And naturally, I just started to lose weight. And it took a few months. And it was because I just kept asking, give me the solution, give me the solution, give me the solution. So, my love, you're asking for how do you increase your appetite and enjoyment of food? Ask the field, how can I enjoy food more? Show me how to enjoy food. Show me how to increase my body mass. Show me how to have the perfect body for me. And some people, it's a mindset of different bodies can look differently. I've learned to accept that my body will always have a little bit more chubbiness to it, or just like really more a little like fat and I'm curvy, versus how I used to think I needed to be skinny, like this model, skinny and fit and thin. No, I'm feminine. I've learned to accept it, and it was learning to say, how can I appreciate my body more? How can I appreciate life more? And so that came with appreciating how I am, how I was designed. So that's the ultimate question I think we can all ask is, how can I appreciate my life more? Because everybody is destined for something different. You know, some people are destined to make millions, and some people are destined to have a beautiful family, and some people are destined to have a great social life, and some people are destined to have a great hobby, and some people are destined to invent something, and some people are destined to live humbly but happily. So the best you can ask is, how can I appreciate my life more according to my own destiny? And then that takes you out of this world of competition and struggling and trying to do what everybody else is doing. Snap out of it. All you are is in a connection with Source Creator, and everybody is walking, ascending towards the Creator, evolving on their own unique path. And every once in a while you interact with others, and ultimately you are on your own unique path. And this resolves codependent issues with other people. Like, so many of us struggle with relationships, holding on to someone or wanting someone, and it's just this like struggle sometimes, and forcing certain relationship dynamics. And like, I've seen a few times some women that are not destined to have children, or not destined to be in a monogamous lifelong partnership that they saw their parents in, and they struggle for years wanting a child, wanting to have a family, and wanting it to look a certain way, or they get a divorce and they think, no, this isn't how it shouldn't have been. It shouldn't have been this way. No, let it go. Look at what you're destined to have and say, this is it and it is perfect. This is it and it is perfect. This is it and it is perfect. This is my life and it is perfect. This is where I've been designed to be, and how can I appreciate this more and more, and how can I open up to even more greatness? What else is possible? And then you just let everybody be on that same journey as well, of what is in their destiny. And you keep your mind focused on the light. If everybody could just keep their mind focused on the light of the Creator and just walk their own path with dignity, with self-pride and greatness, it would resolve a lot of the mental disorders. Because we all, as long as we're in this collective field, everybody is in a mental disorder. To remove the stigma, the judgment, the bias of this person has some mental health issue and this person doesn't. Well, that person that you think doesn't have a mental health issue can, but they're hiding it, or they don't even know it. And that's just okay. Everybody has some sort of mental issue. Like with food, I had an eating disorder, and there's some big, oh my God, Katie has an eating disorder, that I used to have this, like, I need to hide this. But it was just because I had some erratic eating behaviors that eventually I got in order. Or in your business, if you're feeling chaotic, there's some chaos there that eventually can come into order. And that can come into order just by asking, what is in the best possible? What is the best possible situation? Or how can I appreciate what I have more? And that is it. You can tune in to the recording at any point, and whatever you hear is meant to be for you. Take what serves you, leave what doesn't. Share this recording for anybody that you think it would help. It's been a pleasure to be here. And again, I'm glad that I trusted my intuition to just come and speak. And I have a lot of ways that I work with people one-on-one. If you need any specific help, I'm available. For now, I will just keep doing these shares because I believe that information should be free, open source. Nobody should need to have, there should be no blockages between what you need and having it. You can have whatever you want. Every idea. I sometimes see all these different trainings that are so expensive, and people think they need to do a specific training to be certified, or, oh my God, you think you need a certain PhD to be able to do a certain work in the world. No, if you are ready to do that work and give that kind of help and support, ask the universe, the hologram, how can I help? How can I help from here, from where I am now? I believe in shortcuts. I didn't go to business school to learn how to start a business. I just knew I wanted to help people, and I started charging a little bit of money, and that's a business. So whatever you need in your life, whatever you want to be doing, you can do. You just ask for it. You can Google it, you can ask a friend, you ask the field of intelligence, and it wants to help you and bring solutions to your mind. And I mentioned angels, and I talked quite in depth about how they work and how they want to orchestrate miracles. So tune in into that part. Thank you everyone for joining. I love you all.